Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show, Week 5 edition. Believe it or not, this is the last Friday coming up in September. Steve, the calendar's turning to October football. I don't know where the season has gone, but it's going to be pretty exciting. It's been an exciting season so far. Got another great week coming up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to these leagues.
Yeah.
When you look at these leagues, today I was looking a little bit at the Bravo League.
Oh, yeah.
Man, okay, what do we got in there? Yorba Linda looks great. Villa Park looks studly. San Juan Hills looks really good. I mean, my goodness, Tustin's in that league too, right?
No, Tustin's in the Delta.
Delta, they're down in the Delta, and they look pretty solid there. But yeah, when I look at these teams in that Bravo League, oh my goodness gracious, it is something. Let's see who else is in that bad boy. Bravo, Yorba, San Juan Hills, Villa Park, CDM, Tesoro, Newport Harbor struggling, but the rest of them look all right.
Yeah.
Thought Corner of the Mark a couple weeks ago, but those top three: Yorba, Linda, San Juan Hills, Villa Park. My goodness.
Yes, we're gonna be talking about one of those teams in the Bravo League, Corona Del Mar, coming up here shortly. But to kick off the week here, Steve, where you're coming off a 4-1 week. I'm coming off a rare 5-0 week of prediction. So let's get into it. Kicking it off this week, Segerstrom 3-1, Jaguars playing at Troy 4-1 at Fullerton on Friday night, September 27th. So this is a great matchup to start it off because we got two outstanding offenses. The Jaguars, they average 42 points a game. Got Jesse Lopez has already thrown 12 touchdowns for Segerstrom. You got then you got Troy coming off the bye after that narrow loss to Foothill. They're averaging just over 40 points a game. Got Vander Plug as a great receiver there, 30 catches already, 511 yards, 6 touchdowns. This could be a high-powered offensive game. Some fireworks at Fullerton High School. I could see both teams in the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah.
But who do you got in this one?
Sometimes the most impressive game can be a loss to a really good team.
Yeah.
And when I look at Troy, I'm looking at that 42-41 loss to Foothill is that sort of game. You mentioned Vander Plug, the quarterback Rudy Alcala is really good. Ethan Moon's a really good running back over there at Troy. Segerstrom also averages 208 yards rushing a game, giving it to different guys. And Lopez, I saw them lose to El Medina. El Medina is really good. They got all their offensive line guys back. Got the, worth the price of admission quarterback, Xavier Guess. So it's such an exciting kid to watch play football. I'm going Troy in this game. I think you're right about the offensive things. I saw Segerstrom's offense look pretty good against Elmo. They just couldn't figure out Xavier Guess. But, hey, they ain't alone there.
Yes.
A lot of teams going to have that trouble with Elmo. But, I like Troy in this game, and I think it's going to be a close one.
Yes. And one thing I didn't mention about Segerstrom, they're also coming off the bye. You reminded me, the last time they played was that game against El Medina. I'm picking Troy. I think they're pretty good. They're a bubble top 25 team for me. I might have them a little bit low outside of the top 25. Maybe they deserve to be in the top 25 at number 25. I have voted them before. They lost to Foothill. But I think they're really good. I think they get the win. So moving on, Steve, here's another good game. I think a sneaky good game. Chaparral out of Temecula. They're 4-0. They're ranked 22 in the state by Cal Preps. They're taking on Mission Viejo, which is 5-0. Ranked number 2 in Orange County. The Diablos have the longest active winning streak of an 11-man football team in the state of California, with 13 in a row. They just got there with a 31-28 win against Basha of Arizona. I took in that game on Friday. And one guy that stood out to me, Steve, I thought is a bit of a revelation. I think you know about him already, though. But for me, it was interesting. Devontae Curtis, junior running back.
Yeah.
Catching the ball and running the ball. Guy's got another gear. He's a pretty physical, pretty big kid at running back. He's a junior. Got some burst. He's very intriguing guy. He kind of had a breakout game against Basha, which is a good team to have a breakout game. But this is a pretty good matchup. A couple undefeated teams here in the middle of the season. Who do you got?
Devontae Curtis. did Mission really need another offensive weapon? No, but they didn't. But they got one anyway. What, Vance Spafford caught a couple touchdown passes and blocked a couple punts in that game, Dan?
Yes.
Dude, have a game.
You know who deserves credit? Some credit for, Vance obviously contributing to special teams, but you got to look at Garrett Gray, the special teams coordinator at Mission Viejo, utilizing his talent. They love special teams at Mission Viejo. They've been known for a trick play or two, and now you got one of the fastest kids around, their wide receiver, blocking punts. Another thing for teams to think about. And this Chaparral team, they did open the season with a overtime victory against San Clemente. 17-16.
What do you know about the quarterback situation in Chaparral before we go further?
Well, I'm very impressed with Dane Weber, who's a sophomore. Chaparral is the team that lost Dash Byerly, the quarterback of Mater Dei. And here they are 4-0, and they're starting to they're playing a sophomore, Dane Weber, who's having a really good year.
Yeah.
He was a little quiet against San Clemente in that season opener, understandably so, probably. San Clemente quality opponent.
Right.
Really good defense, but he's been really taking it up a level since then.
Yeah. Dane Weber, you mentioned him, 66%. They also got this edge rusher guy, Shane Klingelberg. Wow. He's pretty good. 6'4", 240, defensive edge guy. He's pretty good too. But, Mission Viejo, who's just so good. I mean, they'd be number one if it wasn't for that Mater Dei team, right? I mean, I think there's a good gap between JSerra number 3 and Mission number 2. I think there's a bit of a gap there, but I got Mission in this game, man. Hey, Jaden Williams, thinking about defensive edge guys, 13 and a half sacks already, Dan. Yeah. That's because there's like 20 guys you need to block and be aware of on defense, but also because Jaden really good. A little faster this year than last year. Looks more body weight has gone a little bit more muscularly, muscle mass. When I saw him play, guy's a terror. All county first team last year. You throw Trudeau or Fahey back there, quarterback, boom, you're still going to get points up. Mission's going to win.
Yeah, I got Mission Viejo in this one. I think I got them going to 14-0, and then they're moving on next week for Diablos. They're going to be at SoFi Stadium on October 4th, playing against Long Beach Poly. So they'll be the first Orange County team to play at SoFi, and maybe Poly will have some new UCLA committed transfers eligible. We'll see where that goes. Hey, we just talked about the Tritons. They're in another big game this week. So Tritons 3-2 at Murrieta Valley 3-1. So Murrieta Valley is a really good team. I don't believe they still haven't had Bear Bachmeyer play. Their outstanding dual threat quarterback hasn't played, because I went out there to check them out in Murrieta against Servite, and Bear didn't play. It seemed like he was getting close, but to return, I don't think he's done it. Maybe this will be the week. Maybe they'll save him for the league. They're in a very tough league with Chaparral, Centennial, Corona. So they're in
big West league. Upper league, man. That's a bad league, man.
It's a tough league. So, but this is a nice rivalry between San Clemente and Murrieta Valley. Last year, Murrieta Valley won 39-38. It was a great game at San Clemente. I took it in, and it came right down to the wire. Both teams played really well. So you wonder about, and then, San Clemente's, speaking of improving quarterbacks, Dawson Martinez has progressively gotten better at San Clemente. It's not this season in his first year as a starter. Not too surprising. They coach up that position very well at San Clemente. Troy Kopp, assistant coach, among others, doing a lot of, veteran stuff there with quarterbacks. So who do you got in this one? San Clemente, well, they might not see Bear Bachmeyer. I can tell you the Murrieta Valley is really big on the offensive line. They're physical. They love to run the ball. They got some speed as well on the secondary, special teams. And it's a pretty nice atmosphere out there. They have a nice stadium at Murrieta Valley. I like it as far as a football atmosphere. Who do you got in this game? I think it's kind of tough to pick.
Yeah, it is a tough one to pick, but I'm going with Murrieta Valley. They really pound the rock, man. 195 rushing yards a game. And special teams is pretty good. They got a senior kid named Cam Connor who averages 45 yards a kick return, if I'm reading these stats right, and 23 yards a punt return. Wow. Field position is really important in football games like this. I got Murrieta Valley.
Yeah. Murrieta Valley returned to kickoff for a touchdown against Servite. So that was, speaks to your special teams thing. And now, if you guys have been watching the Gridiron Show, and I know you have, and we thank you for your support, you know that I haven't done so well picking against San Clemente. Notably, I picked against them this year to lose against Corona Del Mar. They won 28-0. Last year, I tried to pull an upset, and I picked Edison to beat San Clemente. I was wrong on that one. I forget where I came out on Mission San Clemente, which has been a tough one to call. I don't know who I picked in that one, to be honest with you. San Clemente would remind me, but so I struggle. I'm usually wrong when I pick against the Tritons, and I kind of think they're playing better, even though they didn't win by as much last week against was it Chino
Yes.
Hills?
Yeah, they won by 1 touchdown against Chino.
I that was a little bit closer than I thought, to be honest with you, but they maybe had a little bit let down after against Corona Del Mar. But I'm going to go with San Clemente because, they're just going to prove me wrong. I think they can win this game. We'll see if Bear Bachmeyer is back or not. I put out a call to George Wilson, the text out to George Wilson, the Murrieta Valley coach. He's a good guy, good coach as well, but I haven't heard back from them. All right, couple more games, good games to end up here on week 5 edition, Steve, on Friday night as well. Serra of Gardena, 2-2. They're coming off a loss on Thursday at Oaks Christian, 13-6. Pretty good Oaks Christian team. Taking on Los Al, 4-1, who, for me, they're exceeding my expectations for them this year. Doing a nice job. This game's at Westminster, and the Griffins continue to just impress, coming off a road trip win at was it Clovis North?
Yep.
On Saturday, and they continue to run the rock so well with their duo of Lenny Ibarra and Gerard Terry. Both those guys now are approaching 400 yards for the season. And speaking of physical lines, I think Los Al's developed a pretty physical line. They're blocking really well, and then you got those two guys really running the ball well. You throw in Alonzo Esparza at quarterback, and the Griffins are playing good defense too. So Serra's fast and physical team, and they beat Los Al in the playoffs last year in the Division II quarterfinals in a close game in Gardena. Who do you got in this one?
Griffins are playing well. The only loss was to Mililani of Hawaii. Everything that's the best team in the state of Hawaii. Now, Alonzo Esparza, I really like the quarterback for Los Al, the senior.
Yeah.
And, he was 16 of 18, 278 yards.
Yeah.
Ran the ball pretty good too up there in Fresno against Clovis North, and that went up there. So I know Serra is really good and got some athletes, and they played a really tough schedule. The only losses were to Oaks Christian last week and in the opener to Orange Lutheran. Good quarterback, Jimmy Butler, pretty decent over there, right? But I got Los Al going in this game.
Okay. I'm also picking Los Al because they are playing well and surprising the heck out of me. They've been very consistent. They're playing a good schedule too. Like you mentioned, the Hawaii team going on the road. Their score against Clovis North was just about the same score as Jay Serra's victory against Clovis North as well. So they're right there. And next up for Los Al, before they get to the Alpha League, the Alpha League, this is our third Alpha team we're talking about. They play Lincoln in San Diego to close it out. So very tough schedule. Another I feel like Los Al's, to me, flying under the radar. I'm interested to see how these guys do against Serra. Hey, last game, and I think it's a good one, all county matchup. Again, Friday, September 27th. How about Trabuco Hills 4-0, undefeated? There's about 15, 16 teams left. I think it's 17. I think it's about 16, 17 teams undefeated left in Orange County. Trabuco Hills is one of them at 4-0, taking on Corona Del Mar 2-2. Sea Kings, they've actually lost 2 straight. They went in their bye week. They're coming off the bye. They went in there with on a 2-game losing streak. They're looking to bounce back against a pretty good Trabuco team, coming off a 35-20 win against their close rival El Toro right down the street. And Tristan Zale, quarterback, 4 touchdowns against the Chargers. Looking pretty good. as he's kind of emerged from their quarterback competition over the summer. And, this was a good game last year. Corona Del Mar won 17-15 against Trabuco Hills in a non-league game. So these teams play some close games. I remember seeing that game last year and being surprised. And then Trabuco, they surprised in the Division IV playoffs last year. They beat Newport Harbor in the first round of the playoffs in another close game. So that's Corona Del Mar's rival that they're going to play in a couple weeks. So can't count out the Mustangs. I think this could be an interesting game. Trabuco is pretty good. Who do you got in this one?
Dan, what do I say about the rankings when we do these things? What I always say about, I always say
the rankings. You go with the rankings.
Don't pick against the rankings.
Yes.
Okay. Trabuco Hills is number 19 in Orange County. Corona Del Mar is number 14 in Orange County. So of course I'm picking. Nope. I'm going Trabuco Hills.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I'm picking against the rankings. You gotta sometimes go with the feels, right?
Hey, great.
Ryan Luce is the really good receiver for Trabuco.
Yeah.
Had a great year last year, all county guy.
Yeah.
He's averaging 114 yards per game receiving. Zale, as you said, is pretty good. 66% of his passes, 13 touchdowns with only 2 picks. I like Corona Del Mar. I really like that kid Dorset Stecker over there at CDM, who's a junior. Yeah.
Very good.
They got to get him more in the offense, but I think if you can focus on him, when I saw San Clemente beat CDM a 3 weeks ago, San Clemente really tried to make sure Stecker didn't go crazy.
Yeah,
did a good job. I think Trabuco Hills might have the same game plan. We'll do it pretty well. I got Trabuco winning this game.
Yes, and San Clemente does have one of the better secondaries. They've been locking up guys for a few years now. They've had a very good run of experience. San Clemente experienced DBs, and they've been producing some really good cornerbacks and with some of the other things they do. But I'm not gonna. I've been kind of high on Corona Del Mar this year. Obviously, I picked them to beat San Clemente. I like their athletes, their size.
Yes,
was very surprised. It was their first shutout since that was one of the stats of the week. That was their first shutout since 2009. These are the guys, San Clemente, that's produced the Garber brothers and all the, the John Humphreys of the world and all the tight ends. And they've put up some huge numbers, and it was staggering. But, San Clemente is a good team. This game is back at Newport Harbor. I'm going to pick the Sea Kings. It's fun to pick upsets, but we do disagree on the San Clemente Trabuco game. And we disagree. We actually disagree on San Clemente, which usually, I'm not the one picking for San Clemente. You are.
Yeah.
So this is
it's only fun to pick the upsets when you get them right.
Yeah, it is fun. It's fun to do this show. I know we provide hopefully some entertainment and some bulletin board material. And these are some good games. And I'm like you said, Steve. You said correctly. League play is going to be so awesome in Orange County this year. I mean, if the things that we're seeing right now, man. Can't imagine. We're seeing some great non-league games, some close ones. Can't imagine what it's going to be like when league starts.
Very good.
All right. So for Steve Fryer, I'm Dan Albano. Please like and subscribe our video. See you at the games, and thanks for watching OC Varsity, where we got you covered.